Hello, everyone. This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, the virtual motivator. Uh, had a chance here to spend a few days away to do some strategic planning for the upcoming year, and something I highly suggest of anyone that's looking to, enhance their career, their business, or anything. Sometimes you need to kind of get away, in particular today under what's going on with all this COVID and all of that, and that to get away and just be able to get into a quiet space and just really think about some of the things you're looking to do. And it's really just good even on a personal level, just to kind of get away and think about your year and think about, your life and your routine, and all of that, and say, you know what, I just really need to think about and have some kind of strategy or plan going into the new year. Good morning, Eva. Good to see you on. For those of you who don't know, I what I do is I have a technology in which I stream these sessions to multiple locations. Some of them on Facebook, some is on LinkedIn. I'm one of the few people that LinkedIn is allowed to do live sessions. And so, we bring these sessions to people at various points throughout the day or the week. Hey, Diane, how you doing? It's nice to see people coming on here. And thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. And so we're going to be sharing something today that's going to be really important. And to be honest with you, I want you to stay with me daily around 10 o'clock every morning throughout the holiday season, because we're going to do this up to the new year, And it's interesting. One thing about getting away. Oh, before I say anything, I did got to let you know I'm wearing my Philadelphia Eagles gear today. Yes, I am proudly wearing it. For those who you don't know, my team is starting to become a good team. We have a great young quarterback, and there is hope for the future. We were all deeply concerned for the last year that we were losing it. Then we got this new young guy. So yes, I am. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I've been Eagles fans for 30 years, but I'm hyping it up. So any fans of any other teams out there, I'm sorry. We got the young quarterback of the season. So just deal with it. So anyway, I got my Eagles gear on. But for those of you maybe jumping on now, I'm away doing some brainstorming for the upcoming year. And I just mentioned every day around 10 o'clock, I'm a little early today, going to be doing something around reinvention. Yeah, there you go. Now we got the Eagles things going. I shouldn't have said that. Eva, you got a wise husband. A wise husband. He's an Eagles fan. But that's why I like doing these, because it's nice to interact with people. And some of you I can only see like user. I don't see names. So if you put your name in there, some of you I can see. But if you'll have it set up on your profile that you see your name, you say like LinkedIn user or Facebook user. You want to make sure you set up so we can see your name. And but anyway, I just saying that we're going to be doing every day something that's a little different. Let me tell you why. I'm going to preface what I'm going to say by why I'm saying this. I just had a good conversation with my good friend Jay McGowan, Johnny J-Ski McGowan, the JD and the trainer, who's going to be one of our business partners this upcoming year in this transformation thing that we're doing, the transformation project. You can see a link in there as to our podcast. But I was telling him as I was here, and this is a nice thing about getting away, I had some time to think about some things. And I was saying, thinking about last night, and I was writing notes and doing some research on it. Why is it that every year, good morning, Aaron. Good morning. Good to see you. Every year, people have these really ambitious goals. Like, I really want to accomplish something. I really want to lose weight. I really want to build a business. I really want to, advance my career. And people do what they should do. They go to different people like myself and others, and they want to be motivated. They want to be inspired. They want to feel it. And every year around January, we're all like gung-ho. The gyms are packed. The bookstore is selling out because everybody's buying books. And everybody's going to do it, man. We're going to do something. We're going to do something new. We're going to make something new happen. And so what I came to the realization is this, and this is something, actually a term that I came up with years ago that people trying to steal from me, but stop trying to steal my stuff. But, it's a statement I use. And if you're with me with these lives that I do, write this statement down, because I don't want you to forget this, okay? And I'll probably type it into this chat feature here. And that is this, and I've been saying this for years, and this, my motivational speaking friends hate it, but it's the truth. And that is motivation without information is simply a good conversation. You see? There you go, Nicole. That's right. Go Eagles. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, motivation, I'm going to say it 3 times, without information is simply a good conversation. One more time. Motivation without information is simply a good conversation. All right. Now I'm going to take a second here, pause, and type that in. All right. Motivation without information is simply a good conversation. That's Coach D. If you use it, give me my credit. All right. I just want y'all to get that. It's because I don't want you to be like everybody else going into this new year. I got this resolution I'm trying to accomplish. Don't be like them. Don't even want it. It's a waste of time. Be the kind of person that becomes strategic and analytical in your thinking as you're pursuing new outcomes. You got to be analytical. You know, motivation is powerful, but motivation can sometimes become addictive. So that every year or every week, I'm just looking for the next motivational boost. You know what I mean? Come on, Diane. That's right. You know, people, it's almost like a drug addict that wants a shot in the arm. But the key to success in any life endeavor is the execution of a specific well-oiled plan of action. That's one of the primary keys. Good morning, Lily. Good to see you. Every day at 10 o'clock, we're going to go 8 days. We got 8 more days of this new year. We're going to be talking about these barriers to reinvention and rebranding. All right. And let's see if I can get Jay back on too, and maybe Pierre and get Rachel on. We're going to talk about this because Pierre Campbell and Rachel Revel, who also, you know, we're all just team here. But I just, you know, I get so frustrated seeing people with tremendous talent, tremendous potential, and tremendous ability not achieve what they set out to achieve. Now, that may sound funny coming from a motivational person, but I realize that motivation is more than just energy and get you amped and things like that. Motivation is, and I broke the word down multiple times, is motive in action. 2 words, motive in action. There she is. Hey, Rachel, how you doing, my dear? Yeah, that's part of the team right there. You guys need to make sure y'all connect with her on LinkedIn. Powerful, efficiency expert, time management expert, a coach. If you one of those people, which I'm going to talk about today, you want to connect with her. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because we're going to talk about one of the barriers to reinvention, and that is procrastination. Okay? And so Rachel, make sure you type some thoughts in there. What's up, David Justice? One of my young lions right there. That's why I love doing this. You get to connect with people that, you know, that you've been involved with. You know, that's it. Motive in action, Rachel. There it is. So the thing is, I want to make sure I'm just keep my thoughts here. I get so excited about this stuff. Is that I realize this motive in action. You got to have a motive, and a motive is an inner state that's driven towards a goal. Don't let people get you all amped up, make you pay $25,000 for a course, and then a month later you don't do anything with it. You can't be motivated to do anything. You got to have an internal resolve to do it. You can be motivated to start the process, but strategy is what gets you there. Hear what I'm saying? I'm not talking foolishness here today, because we got too many people out here just whipping them. I've been doing this stuff for 20-some years. I'm not some fly-by-night that's just throwing something up on, you know, come on, Mark Christie. See that we got people, there it is. That's a doggone demon. See, we got people on there. My man, Mark Christie, good stuff, man. You know, and I'm just, you see it. People just, and Mark, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're on board with this. You know, I mean, listen, people just keep saying every year they're going to do something. And at the end of the year, they're like, why didn't I do it? And it gets ridiculous after a while. You know what I mean? I always tell people this: a dream without a goal is a wish. You know, and I'm teaching something to you that I had to learn myself. And to be honest with you, still learning, because there's some things I got to improve on. But the reality is, what I want to do for the next 8 days, and join me around 10 o'clock, maybe 11, because it is the holidays, depends on when I get up. But Every day we're going to look at these barriers to to achievement, reinvention, rebranding, or just achievement of goals in general. We're going to look at it. I would encourage you to download the podcast and subscribe to Jay and our podcast, because we're going to be all year long, weekly, every Monday, releasing a new podcast that's going to inspire people to reinvent and rebrand themselves and overcome barriers. That's a big part of what we're going to be doing. I just talked to Jay about that today. We're going to be talking about overcoming these barriers. You know, I mean, this is it. You know, there you go. Okay, Mark, good to see you, man. Glad you were on board, buddy. So, all right. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to take a look. Thank you, Rachel. It is a dream without a goal is certainly a wish. We're going to take a look at one of the barriers. Every day we're going to look at a different barrier. Because again, when I was sharing with Jay McGowan, if you may hear me hear his name, Jay McGowan, Jay Ski, was one of the founders of the group 95 South, you know, and the Quad City DJs that made Hoot There It Is and Come and Ride the Train and Tootsie Roll and all those songs, but he's now a rebranding expert. So we're working together on some projects. And so I just told him this morning, I said, man, we got to help people overcome these barriers, because I can get you motivated. I get paid to motivate all the time. I'm on stages. I got 3 emails sitting here today from people who want me to come out and do some stuff. But it's one thing to bring somebody in to do something, and it's another thing that you do what the person is sharing. So let's take a look at the first goal, the first one today. The first barrier I want to talk to you about of this 8 days of analyzing these barriers to achievement of our dreams, goals, or reinvention and things like that is procrastination. And that is simply, in looked up in the dictionary, it's a simple statement, simple term, and it just simply means putting things off to later. That's all it is. Put a person, if you say from a person perspective, a person who puts things off to later. But the problem is with a procrastinator, they always do that. They do. It's like they always do that. Like, it's never like sometimes. The procrastinator, it's a habit. It's a habitual thing of always putting things off to later. Never doing what I say I'm going to do. That's dangerous, my friends. That's dangerous. And the reason why, there's a scripture in the Bible that says hope deferred makes the heart sick. And what happens if I'm a person that wants to do something and I never do it, then that becomes internal angst. You know what I mean? It becomes something that becomes a point of frustration for me. Because why? I have this dream. I want to write this book. I want to build this business. I want to get this job promotion. But I never do anything to move myself towards that. So now I just got this idea in my head, and this idea becomes frustration. And so the challenge with that is realistically, you have the ability to probably do it, but you keep procrastinating. But what I'm here to talk to you about is not just a general statement. I want you to understand there's a psychology behind this. There's a psychology behind why I procrastinate. You see, our mind has these things called chemical pathways. I want to talk about this real quick. And what happens is over time, because again, in my work, I study all this stuff. I mean, I just study and research it because the human mind is really the epicenter of all the things that we do. You know, it's just whatever we're wired to that we're going to end up doing. Some people are wired to be efficient. Some people are wired not to be. Some people are wired to be go-getters, and some are wired not to be. So we got all this wiring going around in our head. But what happens is we create these chemical pathways. And write this down if you're a note taker. This is important. The chemical pathways are a byproduct of our habits. And so what I'm saying in essence is procrastination becomes a habit because we've hardwired our minds to procrastinate. Think about that. Like, coach, is it supposed to be a motivational speech? You're going to get that 1,000 times. There's a million people going to give you free motivational speeches. What I'm giving you is strategy. Our minds are hardwired. So what happens is we procrastinate once, wiring. We add into the wiring twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Nicole Nicolette, that's why I teach this stuff. Where has it been? Because nobody's teaching it. All people are doing is motivating. They're not giving you the psychology. Let me say this. The chemical pathways, we don't realize we are creating those. And people, people, and people don't realize that by continually doing things over and over again and not addressing it. Okay, I said LinkedIn user that said hope deferred. Yes, I said there it is, Proverbs 13:2. But we don't realize the more we driving that stuff into our minds, and then we start saying, why can't I stop doing this? Why can't I stop? Because you have almost like your mind has. Now this is gonna sound really weird, but hang in there with me, okay? Because this year we're not playing. We're getting serious about this. Our minds are it's no different than a drug addict on drugs. Our mind have become wired. It almost desire us to continue to do what we've always done. What we've always done because it now desires it. Man, I can pause right there. Because we've told our minds that that's normal. Our minds are really for us. We tell our minds what to do, but what it ultimately happens, our minds tell us what to do because we program our minds to tell us what to do. You got to get that statement. We program our minds to tell us what to do. That's crazy. We don't realize we did it to ourselves. Now, we have other circumstances. I'm not talking about that hardcore stuff where somebody's had trauma in their lives or they've been abused or something like that. That's totally different. Please don't think I'm talking about that. That's different. And that means I need help psychologically. But like habits and all those things, I'm telling you, we do it so much that now our mind not only tells us to do it to ourselves, but it expects it. It expects it. And so what I'm trying to say to you is, if you're going to do something in 2021, and I call it my thing, we have a theme right now that we're doing with this, and I'm just going to type it in. All right. And I'm serious about this thing. We're not playing. It's called Reinvention 2021. That's what I'm looking at. Reinvention 2021. That's my thing. Don't try to steal my stuff either. If you do, I'm coming after you. It's Reinvention 2021. Because we're going to target them habits. I ain't even talk to you about achieving it, no goal. You set the goal. I want us to look at that stuff that's going to stop you from getting there. Because you and I and many other people, we hardwired ourselves to not achieve what we say we're going to achieve. Because why? We've been doing it so long, our minds have accepted it as normal. That we've created chemical pathways. And one of them is procrastination. It's amazing. I want to read something I read here by this journal about procrastination. When we need to get something done, we will rely primarily on our self-control in order to bring ourselves to do it. Think about that. When we need to get something done, we rely primarily on our self-control in order to do it. So what we've done, in essence, is we now think I can do this. My sense of self-control. I got this. You know what I mean, Nicolette? That's right. It's so true. It is. It's just, hey, I got this, man. I got this. So we're relying on it. So we've hyped ourselves up to believe that we can do this. Okay. And so here's another part to this. It's amazing series of comments. Our self-control often receives support from our motivation, which helps us to get things done in a timely manner. So we have this desire to get it done. We now want the motivation. That's why I said motivation is powerful, because we do need motivation. We do need it. And that's why when I do my speeches or if I'm doing my coaching and we get people motivated, people feel like, yeah, let's get this done. That's why every year people pay millions of dollars for this program and that program, this project, all these different things, because yeah, we get that done. But then it gets a little deeper. It's more than just that. It goes deeper. Good morning, Kathy. How you doing? All right. But this is where we go. This is where the procrastination starts to kick in. In some cases, we experience certain demotivating factors, such as anxiety or fear of failure, which have an opposite effect on our motivation. This is important to understand. In some cases, we experience certain demotivating factors, such as anxiety or fear of failure, which has an opposite effect on our motivation. So we got this thing, we're saying, oh yeah, I'm writing this book this year. Oh yeah, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds this year. Oh yeah. And we get motivated and the new year starts. I got my resolution. I'm gonna do this thing, man. And then the chemical pathways kick in. The demotivating factors. Something happens. Somebody says something to you. Relationship, you're wrong, hanging with the wrong people. People who don't believe in you, or you don't believe in yourself, or you program your mind and not think that you can accomplish this, and boom, it drops right back in there. It drops back in there. And then by the middle of January, you're like, back to normal. I'm giving you something, man. I'm telling you, this would cost a lot of money to get at these quote unquote experts out here. But when you've been studying something for 20 years, you start to know this stuff is legit. I've been doing this with organizations and individuals for years. But now I'm just starting to do it on social media. I say, I want to talk to people about this stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's so important to understand. It's so important to understand this is more than hype, y'all. Stop being addicted to the hype. Stop being addicted to the hype. Because folks will do it. They'll scream into this and they'll push their hands out at you. And you're like, yeah, yeah. And then 2 weeks later, you ain't doing nothing. I'll get you motivated too, but I'm not going to just get you motivated. I'm going to give you some strategy. Forget all that hype stuff. Hype is important. I say it like this. Here's another quote to write down. Powerful quote. All right. Motivation is the fuel, but strategy is the vehicle. Don't forget this. Motivation is the tool, but strategy is the vehicle. Please write that down. If you haven't written down anything in your life, motivation is the tool, as the fuel. Strategy is the vehicle. You need both. You need both. You know, it's interesting. I've been attending church service. I'm gonna go back to procrastination in a moment, but I've been attending church services. You know, I'm a Christian. I've been church services, and I'm not knocking church services and all that. But you go there and folks get so fired up, man. And pastor preaching, it sounds good, and folks gonna do this and folks gonna do that. And I hate to say it, but realistically, a lot of folks don't do nothing. I've been talking to folks about this even in ministry. They don't want to hear it sometimes. They don't know what you're doing. You're lacking faith. No, I ain't lacking faith. I'm telling you the truth. I'm a Christian just like you are. But the reality is you can talk with this stuff all day long. If you don't do something and put strategy and overcome these barriers, you're just going to be talking. And some people I know for 25 years, that's all they've been doing. But the reality of the matter is simply this, you know, that when it comes to the achievement of an outcome, this thing is introspective. We gotta go deeper than this. We gotta go deeper than just, you know, it's more, because realistically, that's right, Rachel. Motivation is the fuel, but strategy is the vehicle. Because we got these roadblocks that's stopping us. Let me go back to. I want to make sure I don't want to go. I can go off on the deep end with this. Is too much. All right. So last thing we said was in some cases we experience certain demotivating factors such as anxiety or fear of failure, which have an opposite effect on motivation. So now the motivation we desired there's an opposite effect that's taking place. It's an opposite effect. And unfortunately, that an opposite effect is just, it slows us down, it shuts us down. Now, this is important. In addition, we sometimes experience certain hindering factors, such as exhaustion or rewards that are far in the future, which interfere with our self-control and motivation. So now what I'm trying to achieve is so far out there, you know what I mean? Or just I'm exhausted that I just don't want to press forward anymore. You see, which is all because, again, remember those chemical pathways that we've carved. And here's the last part of this. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control, keep in mind, self-control is not, I feel like I can do this. This is an equation I'm about to give you. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating. Write that down. I'm going to say it again. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating. I'm going to say it one more time because it's powerful. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating either indefinitely until we reach a point of time when the balance between them shifts in our favor. Man, that's some good stuff right there. Man, my goodness. I was talking about church and the excitement. I remember one time watching Bill Gates and Warren Buffett speak to a bunch of kids at Stanford University. There was about 1,000 of them. And they sat in the middle and given this wisdom. And these kids at Stanford were just taking notes and asking them questions. Let me tell you what I didn't see in there. This is the kind of comparison with, these some groups and other groups. There was no motive. There wasn't no motivation. There was nobody shouting. Nobody's excited. They were quiet and taking notes. But if you know anything about Stanford University, Stanford creates some of the most successful people this country has ever seen. The creator of LinkedIn, on and on and on. One of my favorite people, Dr. Jennifer Eberhard, who created the book Bias. Another person I love, Dr. Carol Dweck, who wrote the book Mindset. 3/4 of the people in Silicon Valley who creates these mega corporations, Stanford graduates. And the reason why I'm saying this is what Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are giving these kids a strategy. They ain't giving them a bunch of hype. They're not giving them, yeah, you can do this. They're saying, you got to take this stuff and go out and do it. If you do this, you're going to achieve an outcome. But the key is you got to be consistent in doing it. That's how we were able to build the businesses that we have. This is going to be a great year for me and my team. The people I'm running with, it ain't going to be just hype. The people that's going to be following our podcast, not going to be just a bunch of hype. We're going to dig deep. We're not going to be for everybody, because not everybody wants to address those internal things that hinder future progress. Some people just want to feel good. And if that's you, we ain't the ones. If you really want some strategy and you want some outcomes in your life, we are the ones. So I'm going to act like this is a seminar, because there's something I want to, put. I'm going to take 1 minute and I ain't going to say nothing. I want you to think about, for you, a question. Am I a procrastinator? And then answer the question, why? I'm gonna give you 1 minute. Go ahead. And if you have questions of me, you can type them in the chat feature. I might be able to see them, I might not, depending on where you're sending this from. But I want you to take a moment. Am I a procrastinator? And why? Take a moment and do that. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna give you just a little break. Fifteen seconds. 15 seconds. You know, 5 seconds. Now, here's the deal. We're done. What you're going to do is this. If you wrote that I am a procrastinator, what I want you to do is get yourself a journal, a little journal like this. And I want you to do something. This is a strategy. Whenever you find yourself in that mode, write down how you're feeling in that moment. What is it? Like, you want to do something. Journal as to why maybe you're not doing it, or if you're doing it, why you are doing it. What am I trying to say? The change does not come until you start to analyze the change process, until you analyze the habits that you've created and why do I do these things? All right. What I'm giving you, I give to my coaching clients. What I'm giving you, I give to my organizational clients. I'm giving this to you. I'm talking to you about this because I want you to understand that unless you become introspective in your own change process, you will never change. Man, Rachel, if you want, you may want to type that one in for us. Unless you become introspective in your change process, you will never change. You hear what I'm saying? Unless you become introspective in your change process, you'll never change. Nobody can do that for you. The only one that can really do it for you or help you through it is a coach or a mentor or somebody that's willing to go on the journey with you. And I encourage that. You know what I mean? Maybe a mentor or maybe a coach. I coach. Jay coaches. Rachel coaches. All of us, we all coach. And it's important. And Pierre, he coaches. But the reality is you're never going to change unless you're intentional about that thing. You got to be intentional about your change process. Let's type that in. And I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. Intentional about your change process. You got to be. There you go. There you go. There you go, Rachel. Rachel popped it in there. You have to become introspective in your change process. You'll never change. I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. But I want you to hear this. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control. So that means some people got self-control wired, man. They got this thing. They can plan things out and they get it done. My wife is she has an engineering mindset. Yeah. She got an engineering mindset, man. I'm telling you, she puts her mind to stuff. And I'm telling you, when she gets that thing done, it's done. She ain't got no obstacles. She ain't got no procrastination. She wired that way. But keep in mind, she was a systems engineer at a nuclear plant when I first met her. So her mind is just wired that way. Some of us are just blessed with that kind of wiring, but the rest of us are not. We ain't engineers at no nuclear facility. We're not engineers at no aerospace. Some people just can set a goal and kaboom, kaplow, it's done. But they ain't thinking twice because they just hardwired for that. But most people aren't. And you got to understand, since most of us aren't, we need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy, because I got to read that last statement again. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating. Think about that. That's where procrastination comes from. So those two factors, the motivating and hindering, things that just like hindrances, then we procrastinate either, and this is important, either indefinitely until we have reached a point in time when the balance between them shifts in our favor. Let me tell you something. My friend Rachel, who's a part of this team, had been typing in things. If you see her there, you want to connect with her and check out what she's doing with her time management stuff and with her efficiency management. She can help you. That's what she focuses on. I'm going to put a page in here, post in here. You can reach me or anybody else on the team through this one. Just want to put this page here. This is our page to our reinvention process. You know what I mean? If you're interested in learning more, go there. And I always tell people, go there. And it's like we have a thing where I do a 15-minute strategy call. Take advantage of the free call and just call up and let's talk about it. You may bring us on as a coach. You may want to work with us organizationally. You may not. But the reality is, you know what I mean? The reality is reach out and let's talk about this, because you can see what I'm sharing with you. I'm not talking about just a motivational speech here. Anybody and their mama nowadays can say, I'm this one girl I met at Burger King. I was going years. I don't eat red meat no more. But a couple of 2 years ago, going through the drive-thru, got a burger, and she saw my license, my tag, and she said, "Coach D, what do you do?" I said, "I'm a motivational speaker." And she said, "Oh, so am I." That's when I stopped calling myself a motivational speaker, because anybody can call themselves a motivational speaker. We're strategists. That's through experience. You need experience sometimes for people who know how to do things than somebody just puts up a website and say, "Here I am." And we've been doing this stuff for a long time. That's why I'm talking to you about this the way I'm talking to you. So if you're interested and want more information, do that. In this subject line, you see the podcast that Jay and I have started. Let me see if I can pull that up and make sure you get that too. At minimum, you certainly, see if I can pull that up. Yeah, you want to go over and get involved with the podcast. All right, where we go here? I just lost this thing. Yeah. All right, get involved with the podcast, because we're going to be, we just interviewed Rachel and Pierre and other people, but that's the podcast link right there. Go over and download it and be a part of it. So I'm gonna get ready to go. I was only supposed to go 25 minutes. It's 34, y'all. If this made sense to you, just say, somebody just tell me. I just need one person to tell me, yes, this made sense. Yeah. Thank you, Lily. I'm glad. Somebody tell me, did this make sense to y'all today? Do you understand where Coach is going with this? And tomorrow we're going to be talking about another barrier and how to overcome it. I just gave you some strategies to overcome procrastination. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about fear. All right. And overcoming that procrastination. Because that fear thing is no joke. Oscar, I'm glad it made sense, man. Anybody else tell me it made sense? Because I'm telling you right now, people have these ideas and these dreams and goals. Thank you, Lily. It made sense. Yeah, and it took plenty of notes. You know, with me, I'm not giving you junk food. Even when I do a free webinar, I'm gonna give you something. You know what I mean? Thank you. It says LinkedIn user. I don't know who you are, but thank you. It makes sense. Thank you. Rachel, thank you. It makes sense. So if you want some more information, definitely sign up. Thank you, Kathy. Go to our podcast, and jump the podcast or go to my link here. Thank you, Nicolette. I appreciate that. Come back tomorrow, 10 o'clock, same time. We're gonna be dealing with fear. I ain't gonna be on there for no 35 minutes though. 36 now. But it'll be 25 minutes. And then Christmas is gonna be later. I'm with my family. I may not even do Christmas. I'm with my peeps. But Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing it every day because the reality of it is I want to keep talking about this subject so that when you go into this new year, it's no longer I have a resolution. You're gonna go in and say I have a resolve. Write that down. I don't want a resolution. I want a resolve. Please write that down. I don't want a revolution. I'm about to say revolution. Resolution. I want a resolve. And the resolve would be whatever it is that holds me back, I'm getting rid of that mess. I'm getting rid of it. Because if not, next year you're going to have another resolution for the resolution you didn't accomplish this year. And then 3 years later, you're going to have that same resolution. But when you make a resolve, your life changes immediately. Because the reality is now you're getting rid of the thing that will hinder you from achieving any goal. And then you get to the point where you don't even need a resolution. I know there's people out here that don't make no New Year's resolutions because they don't have to. They're living their resolution every day. So thank you so much for your time. If you have some more information, reach out to us. Sign up for the podcast. Take a look at the page, the Coach D page on the reinvention process. If you have any questions, reach out to us. There you go, Rachel. I don't want a resolution. I want a resolve. Okay. And those you out there stealing my stuff, if you quote my stuff, you better give me credit because I know a bunch of thieves out there. Y'all a bunch of thieves out there. But you know what? I've been sharing this stuff for 20 years, man. This has been my life. I'm not making this up. I'm not creating a website and a web page and an Instagram page, with no experience. I've been doing this stuff a long time, you see? And the reason why is because I was born for this. All right. This is my purpose. So go Eagles. If you're an Eagles fan, go Eagles. I had to throw that in there. Have a Merry Christmas, but I'm going to be back on tomorrow before Christmas. So say the Merry Christmas to tomorrow. And we're going to do this again, where we're going to be talking about fear and how to overcome it. Take care. God bless.